Time now for Better Books. Immerse yourself into a different time with some fascinating reads.
Lori Fazio from RJ Julia Booksellers is sharing a few titles you might want to pull off the shelf, especially people might be taking a little time off as Connecticut kids have spring break coming up.
Lori, How to Love the World.
How to Love the World. Well, it's National Poetry Month, so April is a great time to, dabble in some poetry if you haven't before, or even if you have. So I just chose this one, How to Love the World. It's poems of gratitude and hope. And there's a lot of different contributors to this, but there's all kinds of poetry books, for really anything. Come in and browse the shelves, or we can, if you want to read poetry about a particular type of thing, we can pick out that right book for you. But it is a great month to do so. And it's great for kids as well. We've got lots of poetry books. Some of them are very silly. Some of them are very, sing-songy, but it's a great time to jump into some poetry this month.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and the next one that you're talking about is Where the Crawdads Sing. So much has been said about the book. It's actually on my nightstand. I haven't got a chance to read it, but it's out in paperback now.
It is out in paperback, which is why I'm bringing it up. So if you haven't had a chance to read it, it's a great time to come in and pick up the paperback, which a lot of people do. It's a worldwide bestseller. It's a book that everybody would love. There's a little bit of nature. There's a little bit of, mystery, but it's not a mystery per se. There's the protagonist is this young girl, and you watch her grow up in sort of the marshy, background of North Carolina, and you feel the Spanish moss, dropping on you, and the humidity, and the author did such a great job of putting you in the moment of this book, and it's just loved by everybody. So new out in paperback.
Eternal?
So Lisa Scottolini, who should be a stand-up comedian as well, is also a very, very, really good author. And she has, she writes a lot of historical fiction. This is 1937, just before World War II, in Italy. So it's when Italian fascism just gets going, and then it goes into the Nazi takeover, into Italy. And it tells the story of these these three friends, rather, and how there's two guys and one girl, and they're both vying for the love of her, and what happens amongst the war, and how their friendship can keep up, because they're all from different religious backgrounds, and we'll see. She is also in conversation with Chris Bojalian, who's also a fabulous author who does a lot of historical fiction. And we're having them in conversation on May 4th. He wrote The Flight Attendant, which is now a popular series. So it should be a pretty great event.
Awesome.
And you have something else for us, the Doctors Blackwell?
Doctors Blackwell. So Elizabeth Blackwell was the first female MD in 1849, and her sister Emily followed shortly after that. They opened the New York Infirmary for Indigent Women and Children, which was the first hospital that was entirely staffed by women. So this is their story. This reads like fiction, although it is nonfiction. Wow. And it tells like a story in a very fast-paced, really interesting information in here, and a lot of history behind how females really became more involved in medicine.
And we have 30 seconds for the last book.
All right. Well, if you like The Crown, you want to dig into Elizabeth and Margaret. And Andrew Morton is one of the best biographies. He's done biographies on Madonna, Angelina Jolie. And this is a very gossipy book. It's nonfiction, but it tells you about how their relationship as sisters started to split as Elizabeth became queen because of all the things that happened. But very fun, and he's a great biographer, so we love anything by him.
That seems really fascinating. I'd like to read that too.
Lori,
thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.
RJ Julia Booksellers, you can find them in Madison or in Middletown. Thanks.